Welcome to the series where we play through every Harry Potter game chapter by chapter. This chapter begins with Harry at the Burrow. In the Game Boy Color version, Harry wakes up and degnomes the garden. Once again, there is no need to score decently in a gnome's throne. Mr. Weasley then gives Harry a folio blue tie. This is a major improvement on the first game, and you'll learn why later. Harry can get into battles around the Burrow because of course he can. This is another Harry Potter Game Boy Color game. Back when the Weasleys arrived at Harry's window in their flying car, Harry accused them of using magic outside of school, but they revealed that their father had previously enchanted it. It's strange to include this misunderstanding from the book, and then have Harry be a hypocrite and perform magic outside school. He's cast spells in the other games so far too, but this game seems to contradict itself. But does it actually contradict anything? In the book, after Dobby flames Harry for dropping the pudding, the Ministry of Magic sends a letter accusing him of using the hover charm that Dobby used on the dessert. It was merely a warning for a first-time offense, so if Dobby intended to get Harry into even more trouble, that didn't work. However, the only reason Harry was blamed was because, as far as Mafalda Hopkirk of the Improper Use of Magic office knew, Harry was the only one who could have performed magic. So if Harry's at a location with adult wizards who have no such restrictions, that's a legal loophole. Chapter 4's opening description of life at the Burrow states, "Small explosions from Fred and George's bedroom were considered perfectly normal." It seems entirely in character for them to tell Harry off-screen of this loophole. Having learned that this law becomes unenforceable in the presence of adult wizards, Harry can cast spells from an improved menu compared to the old lines of text. Though he only knows the weakest forms of Flipendo, Vermilius, and Verdimillius at the start of this game, with other spells, whether newer or not, unavailable. More understandably, he is back at level 1 with low stats. However, when Mr. Weasley gave the folio blue tie to Harry, he also taught Harry the Informus spell. We're really learning and forgetting spells at the drop of a hat in this game. Informus can be cast on an enemy to fill information on it in the folio blue tie. It doesn't give any numbers, but the brief description and icons for the spells its weaker resistant to bypass the trial and error discovery of the first GBC game. In the PlayStation 1 game, the day Harry and the Weasleys plan to stop at Diagon Alley, Ginny has gone missing, and it's up to Harry to find her in this game's first real level. Harry must make his way through the supposedly poor family's vast tracts of land, avoiding bees and enchanted lawnmowers. The most dangerous of our more washing machine bosses would shoot laundry from a distance, making them harder than the solo boss fight in Eurocom's version. Did I mention there are multiple of these menaces? Harry barely scraped through on low health because there were too many chocolate frogs at the beginning, and they stopped appearing now together at some point. The core gameplay of this first game was never this difficult. I think a direct sequel of higher stakes should be more difficult. Anyway, enough of my opinions. Harry finally finds Ginny with the puff skin again. She followed the creature here after it swallowed her Amimbro. How did it slowly hop out of here? Harry Flipendos it and it burps out the bow. With Ginny found, they can finally leave for London. Lego Years 1 through 4 also requires Harry and Ron to find Ginny, except inside the house. They need to fix the sink so the floating pan's blocking the way out of the kitchen leave to get washed, and then find Ginny hiding in the living room. With Ron's sister accounted for, it's time to put food powder in the fireplace and step into the flames. The PS1 version has a sliding section that I probably made more difficult than necessary by trying to collect Audi every flavor beans. But after Harry makes it to another fireplace and back to the real world, everything else for a while is book-narrated scenes. This is odd because this game does have Diagon Alley as a level, but like the first PlayStation game, it will be visited during the school year. Having Harry revisit during spring break was a way in the first game to have Diagon Alley after Harry's learned some magic, without having him start learning spells before Hogwarts like in the Game Boy Color and 2003 Warthog versions. It's weird to repeat the approach now that it's obviously unnecessary. Almost every other version does have gameplay for the rest of the chapter. Unfortunately, Harry's inarticulate declaration of destination leads him to a fireplace in the shop Borgin and Burke's. He hides and witnesses Draco enter with his father, Lucius Malfoy.
Mr. Malfoy, what a pleasure to see you again.
The Ministry of Magic is conducting more raids, and I have a few more items like this at home that might embarrass me.
Items that you are willing to sell?
Correct. I'll expect you tomorrow at the manor to pick them up. Good day.
Good day, Mr. Malfoy.
What kind of evil dark magic could this book hold?
Lumos!
Literally the opposite of dark magic. Harry has to relearn Loomis, but at least there was no need for it at the Burrow, so it wouldn't matter if it carried over or not. In addition to the Eurocom and Game Boy Color versions, both LEGO Harry Potters have Harry escape from Borgin and Burke's, with the help of Hagrid, who Harry will meet slightly later otherwise. Exiting into the black market of Diagon Alley, Nocturne Alley, Harry must then find his way back to the light. Most folks here tell Harry to get lost, although in the mobile LEGO version, Harry and Hagrid strike a deal of some shady guy, finding him scared of beetles in exchange for a bomb to explode a gate in the way. Both LEGO versions in gameplay for a while when escaping Nocturne Alley. In Eurocom's version, Harry makes it to Diagon Alley but doesn't meet Hagrid yet. This meeting with Hagrid is where the Game Boy Advance version starts. The first Game Boy Advance game was created by Gryptonite, the developers of the Game Boy Color versions, who were in turn owned by No Wonder, the PC game developers. Supposedly employees of Bullfrog Productions, a developer cannibalized by EA UK, also helped with the GBA version completely uncredited. Chamber of Secrets GBA was made by Eurocom. No Wonder was involved with 3 versions of the first game, which is a likely reason why the GBA version was poor. By the time their first Potter games released, No Wonder was rebranded holistically as Amaze Entertainment, with the main PC dev team still called No Wonder, and Gryptonite still making Game Boy games. Giving the job to Eurocom while letting Amaze Entertainment make sequels to their 2 better versions was the right decision. The graphics are much more detailed, and the game is isometric, and in some rooms, clever use of forced perspective is used to make Harry appear bigger or smaller to make the environment look even more 3D. In both Game Boy games, after meeting Hagrid, Harry goes to Gringotts. Game Boy Color, Harry goes with Ron and follows Griphook to their vaults, but trips and gets separated like last time. Once again, it's lots and lots of grinding on bats and rats to get strong enough to beat the boss. This time though, Ron can fight alongside Harry. In addition to casting spells, Ron can use Scabbers once per battle to perform a special move with a punny name. Even with the once per battle limitation, Scabbers is still more useful than Harry's ability to use wizard card combinations because using the rat doesn't cost any resources. The boys are able to finally defeat the knight and reach their vows. The book doesn't name the goblin who took them this time, so it's cool to identify him as Griphook due to his importance in the last book, though Griptonite had no way of foreseeing that. The book barely describes the Gringotts trip, and briefly mentions how Harry is mortified by how little money is in the Weasley vault compared to his. The GBC game expands a single paragraph into a proper scene and conversation between Harry and Ron. This isn't entirely accurate as Ron's family should be with them, but their presence would have made the two friends' interactions awkward. The Game Boy Advance version has Harry go to his vault alone. Interestingly, his vault number is 704 here. Because work's being done on the tracks, he must continue on foot. This is the strongest opening level so far. The fiery environment and epic music make this feel like the final dungeon instead of the first. Gameplay is similar to the first GBA game, but now Harry can jump, making moving platforms more manageable. The books never specified Harry's vault number, but the movie said it's
Vault 687.
It's easier to miss something when referencing video rather than the written word. This version isn't trying to be completely contrarian to the films. The title screen uses that first sort of Hogwarts castle. It's just easier to be referencing the books. Maybe Harry's vault was moved or renumbered 704 as part of the renovation happening. Well, this underground adventure is quite the departure from the book tonally. Finding 5 gems to unlock a vault and then defeating the monstrous firecrab guarding it isn't that unreasonable in one of the most unhinged books in the series. Maybe I'm desensitized after so many of the liberties the first games took, but I'd like to think that I was right in this season's premiere about the Chamber of Secrets being less grounded in logic, making suspension of disbelief in a game easy. Harry obtains the Incendio spellbook from the Vault Guardian. And while this is a spell he learned in almost every first-year game, at least he did not in the previous GBA version. After defeating the GBC Gringotts grind again, Harry and Ron get to Sop and Diagon Alley, but nothing's required this time except books from Flourish and Blotts. There are side quests in the other stores in both Game Boy versions. Harry doesn't go to the bank in Eurocom's main version, but instead has to buy his own school supplies and find Ginny's lost items in various stores and Leaky Cauldron. Hagrid is in the pub, even though he didn't appear to help Harry out of Nocturne Alley in this one.
I really miss Norbert. I think about him almost every day.
Both Eurocom's versions have a stealth section in the magical menagerie to make it to the back room where the shop's closed, and somehow it felt easier to see where the shopkeeper you must avoid is on Game Boy Advance. Despite being 3D, the oppressively limited camera angle and movement in the other version is unfair.
I know you're here somewhere. I see you, boy. And stay out of my shop.
Harry eventually finds Ginny out her items. Giving Harry and Ginny real interactions is so much better than the book. There she just stands around blushing whenever Harry's in her vicinity and rarely speaks. In the bookstore, Flourish and Blotts, Harry meets famous author Gilderoy Lockhart.
Great Scott, is that? No, surely not. It is. It's Harry Potter. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the perfect moment for me to make an important announcement. I have great pleasure in announcing that I will be taking up the post of Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher at Hogwarts.
Lucius and Draco Malfoy sew up and throw shade on Harry and the Weasleys. In the book, Mr. Weasley fights Lucius, but in the movie and our games, Lucius just taunts Ginny about her second-hand books. Hermione was supposed to meet up with them, but she's not appeared yet in any of the games. Like last time, the games omit the time between Sopping and Diagon Alley and September 1st, so Harry will be on his way to King's Cross to catch the Hogwarts Express next episode, where he will indeed meet Hermione. But their stupid decision will land Harry and Ron in trouble.